dangerous storm, and the worst is just minutes from the city center of Cincinnati and areas south, the southern suburbs. So we've got a couple of tornado warnings here in Kentucky, and then the northernmost warning in northern Kentucky there on the south side of the Cincinnati metro area. Let's start with that because it's the most heavily populated. A lot of people in harm's way right now. I don't necessarily think we have a tornado on the ground, but this is in the process of likely rotating. It's in that process. You can see it clearly here on the radar. It did produce a tornado in Indiana. It was observed. It kind of went back up, and now it's starting to tighten up again. And man, in Florence right now, we probably have trees down. The winds associated with this cell coming in on the south side of Cincinnati is quite intense. In fact, if we can query that, that's right over the city of Florence right now. This is a huge suburb of Cincinnati on the south side. So right here is the international airport, Cincinnati International Airport, right there. It's actually in Kentucky, just south of the Ohio state line, the Ohio River. So they're in the thick of it right now. And you can tell this storm as it's kind of rotating in like that and then trying to get that curly Q shape right there. We don't have it completely set up yet, and it may end up being more of a damaging wind event, if anything. But either way, this is a dangerous situation regardless of whether we have a tornado or not. It's a heavily populated area. Trees can cause numerous damage. We've seen that in Kentucky already today, and we're likely going to see it here around the Cincinnati metro, unfortunately. So near 275 and then south is where the worst of this is expected to be, right near Ellesmere and Florence right now. That's moving south of Covington. So where Justin is, he's right there. And then downtown Cincinnati is right there in Ohio. Covington's in Kentucky, right on the river. Fort White, the worst of this storm is right about there. So that's just north of where we have some of the tornado warnings. However, this batch of storms is still a danger, and that's coming up into Covington and areas around Fort White, just south of the warning. And there's a chance we could see spin-ups here around this entire line. They can be brief, they can be tightly wrapped, and even rain-wrapped, as everything's kind of evolving in minutes at a time. So this is going to continue to push towards Alexandria, Kentucky, just on the edge of the tornado warning there. If you live in Boone, Campbell, and Kenton counties, or really anybody in the Cincinnati metro area, hopefully you're in your home, in your safe place. Being out right now is very dangerous. A lot of lightning, yes, but damaging winds that can easily knock down trees, and then the risk of a tornado. We saw that in Louisville very quickly on a severe thunderstorm warning. Look at the lightning right now around downtown Cincinnati. We're talking about 25 strikes just in the past 15 minutes, and this storm is in an atmosphere that certainly can intensify quickly, and things can escalate pretty quickly. Now, north of Cincinnati, we got some developing cells here that are continuing to push off towards these. This is being a considerable threat tag with the possibility of a tornado. So this is northeast of Cincinnati proper to the south of Dayton. It includes you in Clinton, Greene, and Warren counties in Ohio. It includes Lebanon, Mason, and Springboro. If you live in these cities, please treat it like a tornado warning, because these storms can quickly spin up twisters and tornadoes with very little time. We have looks like a very damaging wind event right there, moving towards US Highway 42. It has lightened up a little bit, but that's also where we have the most concentration of lightning. And when we look at the environment these storms are heading in, we had some sunshine between the round this morning, and then since then, before this round has come in, it's allowed for instability to increase, especially across Kentucky, southern Ohio. So these storms are moving into some very favorable conditions to rotate, to produce tornadoes, and also severe weather. So this is going to continue to be an ongoing threat. We'll even have to watch Columbus right on the edge. You go north of there, you start to get in some cooler air and a little bit more stability. So Cleveland, while we will have thunderstorms, the severe threat should stay to your south. We got to watch a couple of these cells, though, that may hit us in Columbus, but I think it mainly south of I-70. We really got to watch Kentucky, and then our attention is going to turn well to the south into Tennessee and also parts of Alabama and Georgia, as well as Virginia, western parts of Virginia, and or there's just been a newly issued tornado watch that does include Knoxville now until the later evening hours. So Cincinnati on deck for the moment. It looks like we've got numerous warnings. And did they just drop the tornado warning? Okay, so they just dropped the tornado warning, and we aren't currently tracking any tornado warnings in Kentucky, or at least northern Kentucky and Cincinnati. However, there's still that possibility of a tornado in some of these